Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, your heart racing, sweat dripping down your forehead, after being jolted awake by the same terrifying dream? You're not alone. But what if I told you that this isn't just a random occurrence? That there's a deeper, darker reason why your mind keeps dragging you back into that same nightmare? This isn't just your imagination running wild. There's something unsettling behind these recurring nightmares, something you need to know about. So before you brush off these dreams as nothing more than random fears, take a moment to consider what they might really be trying to tell you. Recurring nightmares have haunted humanity for as long as dreams have existed. But here's the unsettling truth. They are often far more than just random sequences of disturbing images. In many cases, they are messages from the deepest corners of your subconscious mind, or perhaps even from somewhere far beyond that. In today's video, we'll uncover the terrifying reason why you keep having the same nightmare over and over again, and explore both the scientific and spiritual explanations for why this happens. From your mind's way of dealing with trauma to ancient beliefs that see dreams as windows to the soul, we'll dive deep into what's really going on when your sleep is plagued by these distressing visions. And most importantly, we'll talk about how to finally put an end to them. If you've been suffering from recurring nightmares, this video might hold the key to understanding the terrifying truths behind them and how to break free. Let's start by talking about the most common explanation. Psychology. Many experts believe that recurring nightmares are often a reflection of unresolved stress, trauma, or anxiety that lingers beneath the surface of your conscious mind. During the day, you might suppress your fears or avoid confronting difficult emotions. But when you're asleep, your defenses come down, and that's when your mind tries to process everything you've been pushing aside. In fact, nightmares are closely linked to the brain's response to fear. They are a sign that your mind is working through feelings of anxiety, helplessness, or stress that you might not even realize are affecting you. It's your brain's way of getting your attention, sending you a clear message that something is off balance in your emotional life. But why do these nightmares keep repeating? According to psychologists, the reason is that the underlying issue remains unresolved. Until you address whatever it is that's causing this internal turmoil, whether it's a past trauma, a current life stressor, or even just chronic anxiety, your brain will continue to revisit the same terrifying imagery night after night. It's as if your subconscious mind is saying, "Hey, pay attention. This is important." For example, imagine that you've experienced a traumatic event, like a car accident or a difficult breakup. While you might feel like you've moved on from it in your waking life, your brain hasn't fully processed the emotions tied to that experience. This unresolved emotional baggage can manifest in your dreams, often taking the form of nightmarish scenarios that are symbolic of the event. Now, let's turn to the scientific side of things. While psychology explains why nightmares occur, science gives us insight into how they happen. Recurring nightmares usually occur during REM sleep, the phase of sleep where dreams are most vivid. REM, or rapid eye movement, is when your brain is highly active, and during this stage, it's processing information, emotions, and memories. But here's the catch. If your REM cycle is disrupted, say due to stress or poor sleep hygiene, your brain might not be able to fully process the emotions tied to your waking life. This can lead to what's called dream repetition, where the same dream keeps reoccurring because your brain hasn't been able to finish sorting through the emotions or memories tied to that dream. According to sleep researchers, people who suffer from recurring nightmares often have higher levels of stress hormones, such as cortisol, which can interfere with the normal processing of emotions during sleep. Essentially, your brain is stuck in a loop, trying to resolve the same issue night after night but failing to do so because of the ongoing stress. In more severe cases, recurring nightmares can even be a sign of something called post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. For people with PTSD, nightmares are a common symptom because their brains are struggling to cope with the overwhelming emotions tied to their traumatic experiences. Instead of being able to move past these emotions, the brain keeps re-experiencing the trauma through dreams. While psychology and science provide practical explanations, there's another side to this mystery: the spiritual perspective. In many cultures and spiritual traditions, dreams, especially recurring nightmares, are seen as more than just psychological phenomena. They're thought to be messages from a higher realm, perhaps from your own soul, or even from a spiritual guide trying to communicate with you. Some believe that recurring nightmares are symbolic of unresolved karmic ties or spiritual imbalances. These nightmares, according to spiritual practitioners, may be your soul's way of trying to confront something that's out of alignment in your life. For example, if you're repeatedly dreaming about falling, drowning, or being chased, these might represent spiritual challenges that need your attention. It's also said that nightmares can be portals into the subconscious, showing you fears, anxieties, or unresolved issues that you haven't been able to confront during your waking life. From a spiritual point of view, these nightmares are opportunities for personal growth. They force you to face your shadow self, the part of you that you might be ignoring or suppressing. In some traditions, nightmares are even seen as visits from malevolent spirits or entities. For instance, in ancient folklore, it was believed that nightmares could be caused by supernatural forces trying to manipulate or disturb your peace. While this might seem far-fetched to some, it's important to remember that many cultures take dreams seriously and see them as a direct connection to the spiritual world. If you're having recurring nightmares, especially ones that feel disturbingly real or leave you shaken for hours after waking up, it might be worth considering whether there's a deeper, spiritual meaning to them. Is there something in your life that feels out of balance? Are you avoiding a truth that your soul is trying to reveal to you? Now that we've explored the various reasons why recurring nightmares happen, the big question is, how do you stop them? The first step is understanding that these nightmares are a signal. Whether it's coming from your subconscious mind, your brain's stress response, or even a spiritual source, the nightmare is telling you that something in your life needs attention. To break free from the cycle, you need to address the underlying issue. If your nightmares are caused by psychological stress or trauma, consider talking to a therapist or counselor. They can help you work through the emotions that might be triggering your nightmares. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is particularly effective in helping people overcome recurring nightmares. Through CBT, you can learn to change the way you respond to the emotions and thoughts that arise during your dreams, which can eventually lead to a reduction in nightmare frequency. For those who are open to spiritual practices, meditation and dream journaling can be powerful tools. By writing down your dreams every morning and reflecting on the emotions and symbols that appear, you might start to see patterns emerge. These patterns can give you clues about what your nightmares are really trying to tell you. Meditation, particularly mindfulness meditation, can also help you become more aware of your inner emotional state and can be a way to process your feelings in a healthy and productive manner. Another technique that's been gaining popularity is lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is the practice of becoming aware that you're dreaming while you're still in the dream. Once you realize you're in a dream, you can take control of the narrative, confront the fear head-on, and change the outcome of the dream. This can be incredibly empowering, as it allows you to break the cycle of helplessness that often comes with recurring nightmares. Imagine this. Instead of being chased by a terrifying figure in your dream, you suddenly realize that it's just a dream. You stop running, turn around, and face the figure. In that moment, the nightmare loses its power over you. It's a profound experience that can help you reclaim control, not only in your dreams but also in your waking life. Recurring nightmares are a signal from deep within, whether from your subconscious mind, your brain, or perhaps even from a spiritual source. They're trying to tell you something that you haven't fully acknowledged or processed. The good news is that with awareness and the right tools, you can break free from these terrifying dreams. If you've been experiencing recurring nightmares, share your story in the comments below. What do you think your dreams are trying to tell you? Let's explore this mystery together. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in understanding more about your mind, your soul, and the hidden messages in your dreams, be sure to subscribe and check out our next video on how to unlock the power of lucid dreaming.